Good morning. I hope you can hear me okay. It's just on 8 o'clock in this Thursday morning. Is it Thursday the 15th of May 2020? And we're here for a round 4 match, race to 15, with Cobra from England and Real Poland Power Stub, as we will call him, from the USA. And the room should be going up any second, and both players are here, or at least they were a minute ago, and they've been in practicing, and we should be all set to go. This is going to be a double header today. We have this match starting in a minute. Good morning, welcome. And we also have Larry's match later on this afternoon or early evening, 6 o'clock my time, and that's the one lost side match between Larry and Columbus, I believe. I'll just change the cloth if I can get this thing to work. Hang on, oh, they're both in, and suddenly my mouse has died. That's a weird one. Oh, that's better. Right, they're both lagging off, and I'll adjust my mouse in a minute. So Cobra has won the lag. He's going to break off. Remember, keep reminding people, race to 15 on the winner's side. There are no jump cues, and more importantly, it's alternate break. That 9 ball didn't move an inch, and a good solid break from Cobra. Now this match, probably more than anything so far, is going to hinge on the break, because both of these guys, if they get a good open break and get a shot, they should be running out. That's what we're expecting. That's the standard we're expecting, and anything less, well, they could pay the price. Let's just change the cloth while he's about to run the table, presumably. Right, and the only other thing to check is my little doodle. That's working okay, so everything's fine. We're all warmed up and ready to go, so welcome everybody. There's a good match on my YouTube channel from yesterday, and I have totally forgotten who was playing because I'm still half asleep, but it was worth a watch in the end. It'll be the most recent video on my YouTube channel. Have a look at that if you've got time. And Cobra, well, how many times do I say this? The 9 ball hasn't moved from the diamond, and it's going to be critical how Cobra gets on this 9 ball. We've seen it hundreds of times, players going on the top side of the 9 and then leaving an awkward shot, so it's all about the pace. And the one thing I would say about Cobra, between him and Stub, is that Cobra in general has the better touch and better control of pace. Yeah, that's right, it was you and Sacco. Thank God you reminded me. My brain has just gone a blank, and I've already had a cup of coffee to try and clear my head. Yeah, that turned out to be a good match in terms of how the result ended up, and it was a good finish as well, so it was worth watching. Now here we go. This is what I'm talking about. He's got the high cut on the 9, and this is the first test of nerves. Who's that? Alright, well, a confident start and a statement from Cobra, who's done everything right straight away in that first rack. He's won the lag, he's broke off, he's got a ball, and he's run the table. That's the standard we expect, and straight away Stub has broke off in rack number 2, and he's come up dry. But look at these balls. I mean, this 1 ball is the clincher. if Cobra's going to go all out here, he's going to have to run this cue ball, and there is a path. There is a path to go there, get my red line up there, and somewhere down there to actually land on that too, if he's going to go all out. And he's going to go between them. Now he has to find a gap between the 7 and the 4, and he's found it, and that's an excellent shot. An excellent shot there. Obviously you're relying a bit of luck just so you don't block yourself off. And now a gentle roll in the 2. He doesn't need to do anything with the cue ball. And this is where it probably emphasises it even more as the standard goes up later on in this tournament, and how important the break is. Now Stubb broke. Any other day he'd have potted a couple of balls and probably had a shot. He's broke off but no shot. Left Cobra not an easy start, and well, right now he's in a good position to take this rack out. Now he has to be careful here. He doesn't want to go too far inside, and he doesn't want to go too far left. He could block himself out with the 8. He's just got to be careful. There's loads of room, and he's played it again perfect. He's got a nice little angle, and the control of pace is a good sign at the moment here for Cobra. He's in pretty good shape. And this is again another tester just to get the control. He wants to, he's got a choice. He can go left or right here, so he's going right, and once again the pace is perfect. So immediately Stubb is under pressure through no fault of his own, other than the break didn't work, and now the break goes back to Cobra, and he's leading 2-0. And of course Stubbs doing his old trying to get inside his opponent's head technique. I don't think that's going to work, and it's a sign that he's already feeling the pressure. And then straight away Cobra's broke off, and he's got a couple of balls, a 2 and a 3, a shot and a 1, and there is a gap to get across for that 4 ball. It's a wee bit dodgy, this shot. He could run into the 9, and he's missed the 9. Now does the 4 pass the 7? Yes, it does. It goes past, no problem. Now this is a dead weight shot if he wants to roll through to here to get that 5 into the same pocket. The natural angle from this would suggest it, but he wants to go down and up and play it into the corner. Perfect. The angle takes him away from the 6, but he can run off the side rail, come back off for the 6 into the same pocket. Oh no, he's going in the short side. Well, the angle must have been a lot less than I thought, and well, Stubbs quit already. Oh dear. And he's rejoined. And he's probably got crap running in the background, which is never the good idea to be doing when you're actually... Oh, here we go. Oh dear. Oh, and we're only just started, And this is the thing. If you're going to start mixing it in the chat, that immediately breaks your focus and concentration. So Cobra needs to get his head straight and not get involved, and he's been lured into the trap if he does so. And Stub has gone again. Well, make of it what you want. But let's just be diplomatic and say, well, he never usually has these sort of technical issues. Well, if I was in Cobra's corner, I'd be messaging him right now and telling him to cut the chat and focus on the game in hand, because he's now 3-0 up in a very strong position, and Stub is struggling to get a connection here because the queue isn't showing, and I think he needs a reboot. He needs to cut to the chase, get a reboot going, and refresh his system, because he's probably been sitting in the lobby for 24 hours and hasn't rebooted his PC, so his PC's full of crap, and we're not seeing his queue. He's probably gone again, and so we wait with bated breath to see if he's going to get himself sorted out here. And if he's going to keep rejoining, the same thing's going to happen until he refreshes his system. And the other thing, of course, to remember is, I haven't looked at the setup, but I think there's a 15-minute timeout. It's either 10 or 15 minutes where he has to get into the room. So you know, he's been in plenty of time, but if this builds up, it may well only escalate. And the queue still isn't showing. Well, I'm going to do it. Well, this has been a very promising start for Cobra. Yeah, the reason for that is that he needs to restart his whole system, because VP4 servers are thinking he's connected and he's not connected and all of that. You get that crap happening when you don't do a reboot. If you do a proper reboot, everything will be okay. Right, guys, I'll tell you what I'll do. If he's on Facebook, is he rebooting? Oh, you are rebooting, right? It's about time. I didn't even know he was in the chat, and you're making a mistake there, Stub, of actually having this stream up. Get a reboot done and get back in. well, the more important thing to focus on is that Cobra's got himself in a strong position here, leading 3 racks to 0 and in control of the situation. The other situation with Stubbs' connection and crap that's going on in his PC, I mean, this is what you should do. You should do I mean, I did a restart 5 minutes ago before I started streaming, and you just have to refresh your system. And of course the other thing is when you've been running for maybe 24 hours, 48 hours, and then there's Windows updates come on, you've got all sorts of stuff interfering with your connection. It's using up your system resources and all of that stuff. And WizKid's sending me a message, but he should know by now that I don't answer PMs while I'm streaming, so somebody pass him that message on. I don't want any information appearing in the chat that shouldn't be. So now if he's doing a reboot, the other thing is, and if he is doing Windows updates, the Windows update, depending on what it is, will probably want to reboot the PC again. So it could be another 5 minutes or so here. And well, that's not Cobra's problem. That's all I'm going to say in his favour. It has nothing to do with Cobra. That's Stubbs' problem. If he's not got his system set ready to go, he's only himself to blame. But the clock's ticking. I hope the audio is okay, guys. I think we've more or less got it as good as we can, and well, let's just stay with it and see what happens. And don't forget, any latecomers, we've got Larry's match later on today, and Larry has got that match arranged for 6 o'clock British Summer Time, which would be what's that, 1 PM Eastern Standard Time, and that would be what, 10 o'clock Pacific Time. So he'll have his match on the one loss side later on today, and I will have that as well. There's other matches on tonight that I won't have, unfortunately, because then of course it's getting to my bedtime, back at work tomorrow, and well, there's some good matches. Keep your eye on the bracket. Now I'm going to just test something here, guys. I won't be able to see the screen because I'm tabbing out, but I want you to check that you're still getting the audio, because I've opened up the audio while I'm tabbed out. You'll see what I mean in a wee second. Good morning. I'm looking at the bracket now, and Moz is already through to round 5, and this match here between Cobra and Stubb, the winner of this match is waiting in the winner of the match between Acero and Bytime, or Keith as they call him, from Northern Ireland. So there is some good matches to come, and it's timed out. Oh, that's a disaster. Well, it was short and sweet while it lasted, guys. There's going to be obviously a situation here that is up to the tournament director to rectify, and well, we all saw what happened. And Cobra has a 3-0 lead. Now what I would suggest, right, and I hope you guys would agree with me, that these two play the match out with the tournament bracket, because if this match gets restarted and it gets reset, Stubb is going to have to be trailing 3-0 one way or another. It can't be restarted from scratch. What the hell are you doing in your phone? Well, you should have done all of this stuff prior to getting ready for the match. You should restart your system, make sure everything's fine, make sure you get nothing running in the background it shouldn't be, and you're all set. But like I say, whatever happens, Cobra has a 3-0 lead, and that's the important thing. So however this match is going to be resolved, and I mean, if you go by the rules of the tournament, Stubb has forfeited because he hasn't made the time. It's as simple as that. So, well, there's nothing else to see here, folks. Apologies if you got out of your bed early like I did for the match, and it's all ended in a bit of a disaster and disappointment, to say the least. And we've got a long wait before Larry's match. That is a good number of hours to go. It's well, it's unfortunate, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, as Evan Baxter says, or whoever it is that said it. I can't remember. Well, let's head to the lobby. Well, it's all a question of whether the result should stand or Stubb. They set up the match. Here's the way to do it. They set up the match and Stubb forfeits 3 racks to start with, and then we get Steve to adjust that on the tournament bracket. That's the simplest outcome. So they set the room up with the tournament settings. So you verify the tournament settings: no jump queue, alternate break, race to 15, and they start off the first 3 racks, of which Stubb excuse me, of which Stubb will forfeit the 3 racks. So he'll just muck about in the table, forfeit the 3 racks, and give Cobra his 3 rack lead, and we continue the match that way. And I suggest that's the way it gets resolved, and then the matter on the bracket is easy enough to fix for Steve to get that done. So hopefully Steve's listening, and hopefully the room can be set, and so we can get this match done. Right, there we go. Right, well, for anybody who's joined late, the situation is that Stubb has had disconnects. He's had various disconnects before he finally had the sense to try and do a reboot, and in all of that commotion he's timed out, and the tournament bracket has forfeited him, trailing by 3 racks to 0 against Cobra in this race to 15. And we are looking at some way of resolving this matter. It's very easy to resolve, and the way I've suggested is the simplest way of doing it. Just get the room up, get the tournament settings in the room, and get the match resolved. I mean, there's no doubt about that. It's the easiest way to do it. So let's get it done. That's what I say, because I didn't get out of my bed at this time in the morning to sit around here pissing about. Excuse my French. And neither would I say that my viewers, however few there is, want to do the same thing. So how is this situation being resolved? Because I don't see a room going up. We could be off and running. Now, where's Cobra? Is he still in the lobby? Because I can't see his name for the chat on my screen. I'm looking to see, has he gone? Because if Cobra isn't here, then it's all over, and the result stands. Yep, he's definitely gone. Yeah, I don't see him, so it looks as if it's all over, and the result stands. Because it's not going to be resolved if Cobra has decided he's getting himself out of the situation and not getting involved. Technical problems on your side are your problem, they're not your opponent's problem. Well, Super Admin can't reset it without the confirmation of your opponent's stub, so you're up shit creek there suggesting that. If Cobra has gone, then I'm afraid you're heading to the one loss side. If Cobra was here, and let's be honest, if the room had been set quickly enough, we may well have had a match. I have to agree with that one. I do agree with Stubb on that score, that well, Stubb would have probably did the same thing as well. He would have probably said no, he doesn't want to play at the result stand, so it'd be like two kids in a kindergarten. But it all hinges on Cobra. If he's gone to let Stubb sweat, or he's gone and that's it, done and dusted, and we don't have a match. Simple as that. And well, I'm pretty certain Cobra's one of these guys who hasn't given any details to anybody, and there's no way of contacting him to ask him. He needs to be asked the question, and somebody needs to work on the diplomacy side of this matter if they're going to have a match. Well, we're all built up for a good match. It was a good start by Cobra, good, very solid start, and it's all ended in dire disappointment for all. I can see the chat's now gone. And yeah, did Cobra say any parting words before he went? Because I don't think I've seen anything. I think Stubb was doing all the chat. And the timeout must have been less than 15 minutes. Well, that's what I was saying. I don't think Cobra's probably one of these guys, many people who don't have any connection to anybody in VP4. He just appears and disappears. Yeah, he's only said one line of text and then disappeared, so he's made his mind up. Yeah, it's definitely done. Yeah, it is definitely done. Or did somebody say come back in the lobby? I haven't seen him. No, definitely no sign of him. But it would be safe to say that you know, Cobra has given the time to play this match, so it's very unlikely that he's left the lobby to go to work, because he would still be in the middle of a match had everything been going okay. So it's clear that he's using the forfeit option. Well, that's a good one. So now, does that add up as 15 minutes? Seeing as seeing as Steve's muted him for 10 minutes and Brian's muted him for 5 minutes, does that count as 15 minutes? Oh, this is laughable. But you know what Stubbs like. Everybody's giving him the banter in the chat, and it's of course you know, it's just feeding him bait, and he's taking it on, and the usual outcome, Stubb getting muted. Well, we're waiting here in forlorn hope that Cobra's going to suddenly come back into the lobby. I'm going to hedge my bets and hang around for 10 minutes and see what happens. What's going on? What have we got going on here? Nothing much at the moment. We've not got a lot going on. Well, it's a bit like in a football match in the UK. You know, the start of the match, if it went that way, a team could be leading 3-0 and the match gets abandoned because of fog. The result doesn't stand. The match gets replayed, and all the times I've seen that happen. But I don't think Cobra would be prepared to go down that route. But the simple way to resolve it was the way that I suggested, and it's been done before, where the players just get the room set, or somebody sets the room to the tournament settings. That's probably the best way to do it. As long as all the room settings are correct and the shot clock's correct, the rules are correct, no jump cues and alternate break, It's a race to 15. You start the match, and then the player who is currently losing, i.e. Stubb, forfeits the first 3 racks, and then we continue from there. And then at the end of it, when we have a result, the result is forwarded to the admin, the super admin, because he's the only one that can affect that change, and then he inputs the result on the bracket, and then on we go. We continue the tournament as normal. It can't be done because Cobra has left the building, as they say, and unless he comes back very shortly and that discussion is made and that suggestion is made and he takes it on board and he agrees to it, then we'll have nothing. And at the moment we're having nothing. Yeah, well, and here's Yama arriving. He said he was going to come in to see the match. I spoke to him yesterday. Well, he's a bit late in the go, and he's he's in for a disappointment as well. He's going to come in and say, well, what the hell's going on here? Where's the match? What's happened? Oh, is Semi waiting to play him on the one-loss side? Well, that's a good suggestion, Semi-Pro. Let me have a look at the bracket. Hang on a second. Presuming you can still hear me while I'm tabbed out. Let's have a look at the bracket. Where the hell is the thing? Right, let's just refresh that and have a look. Yeah, REELPOLANDPOWER is now through to play Semi-Pro in the one-loss side. Now that would be a good idea. At least we would have a match. But I don't think Stubb. In fact, is Stubb still muted? Let's have a look. Where the hell is he? Yeah, he's still muted down below. So until he is unmuted, we won't know. But Stubb doesn't have a leg to stand on, regardless of what he types in the chat. Going by the rules, he has forfeited, and that's it. And Cobra isn't here, and so the tournament moves on. Just hang around, guys, till we see what happens. Well, he can continue to whine all he wants. You know, he signed up for the tournament. He won't, he can't argue with the rules of the tournament. You know, you have that timeout. So what do you do? What's the logical thing to do when you've had your PC running for 3 days and not had a reboot, and you're about to play a tournament match? You get your router refreshed, you get the PC refreshed, you do a restart, and if possible you do a tidy up and a clean up on the PC. Switch off your antivirus, get the game going, and you should be okay, unless there's a problem VP4 side. But the problem isn't on the VP4 side, the problem's Stubb's end. It's just basic gaming knowledge that tells you make sure you've got everything running that should be running, and get everything off that shouldn't be running, and not have 20 windows open up listening to some trash music that he usually listens to while you're playing the match. You know, you do all the sensible common sense things and you're fine. You know, that's the logical stuff to do when you're preparing to play in a match. Well, it looks as if this 10-minute mute and this 5-minute mute have multiplied into 15 minutes. That's crazy. I know we all want to see a match. It's not the match that we wanted to see at this particular time in the tournament, but well, Stubb, I agree with what you're saying there, Larry. Stubb will probably say he doesn't want to play and he wants to stand his ground, but he's got no solid ground to stand on. Everybody can see that. And well, Stubb was trailing 3-0 and he's had connection problems, and then he couldn't get back into the lobby when he finally had the sense to do a reboot, and he didn't make it in time, and subsequently he's since been forfeited automatically by the tournament system, trailing 3-0. In the meantime, Cobra has had enough and he's gone, and Cobra isn't here for the situation to be resolved in an amicable matter, that is to say, set in a separate room and getting the result done and dusted. So now, if the bracket stands as it is, Stubb is now through to play semi-pro over on the one-loss side. Semi-pro is here, eager to get at it. Stubb is still muted as far as I know, and I don't see him now. It looks as if, oh no, he is, I can see him there. Oh, Cobra's here. Well, somebody suggest what I suggested. It's not my job to suggest it and not get involved in any way, but I suggest that's one way of doing it, but it has to be agreed by Cobra. So the rest is up to you guys and whatever, or Steve, whatever he wants to do. I think Steve's gone to his bed. In fact, why the hell Steve up at this time in the morning? It's 3 o'clock. What time's that? 9:15. Right. Well, it's 4:45 in the morning, stateside. So let's see now what happens. Well, this is like a mid-session interval in the snooker, isn't it? But it's went longer than 15 minutes. Now, hopefully somebody is talking to Cobra and asking if he's going to do Stubb a favour, because it's all in Cobra's hands. It is entirely up to him. If he doesn't agree to it, then it's tough on Stubb. I believe he's. I'm going to go the diplomatic way and say I believe that he's had connection problems. I don't know how many people were in the room at the time. This is another reason for not having loads of people in the room, because it can create problems in getting back into a room as well, I would imagine. It's far better to watch it on the stream, and even if you don't like listening to me, it's far better watching it on the stream, and that way you're not cluttering up the room with unnecessary bodies. But I do think that Stubb should be unmuted right now, so that we can find out what's going to happen. It's between him and Cobra. We need to have this resolved. Is Cobra still here? Because again, I can't see. Yes, I can. He's just below Stubb on my list. And the other thing as well is Stubb needs to leave the lobby and come back in, I'll tell him. Or is Stubb still on the stream? Is he still got... if you've still got the stream up, then do as I suggested. Get yourself out of the game, restart the game, come back in and see if it refreshes your mute situation, because sometimes that's what happens. You have to actually restart the game for it to refresh. Now I can't see with all the chat whether he's unmuted or not. Oh yes, he is. See, there you go. Not only am I a tactical genius, but I'm a technical expert as well, as far as VP4 is concerned. Right, who's going to grab the bull by the horns? And I think Cobra's now winding him up, to be honest with you. I think that's what he's doing. Who's going to go and look at the tournament bracket, look at the setup? I don't even know what room it's meant to be in. What the hell room is it in? Because I haven't even looked at that. And get the room set if they're going to play. Now I'd love to get involved, but I don't want to get involved. Beach House, the hard times table, no jump queues, whatever it is, 45-second shot clock and a 30-second extension or something like that, I'll be there or thereabouts. No jump queues, alternate break, takes 2 minutes to set, the game starts, Stubb forfeits the first 3 racks, and then you can continue from there. That's the easy way to do it, and then you inform super admin to input the result onto the bracket and everybody's happy. If Cobra wants to be generous and well, what you would say is do the gentlemanly thing, although the onus is not on him to do that. I know if this was Larry, he would do it, or at least Larry's done it before when he shouldn't have done it, but Larry's done it before. Right, that's the question that needs to be asked. Is Cobra still here to answer that question? That's another point. Oh yeah, he's there. I don't know whether Steve's messaging Cobra to get a reply, but it needs to be resolved one way or the other instead of pissing about here for an hour. Yep, that's well, Cobra's, you know, jump to the conclusion that he's Stubbs messing about, and he has a point. He has a point on that score, no doubt about that. But the point with playing in tournament play is you don't let the player get inside your head regardless. And when that happens, you know, you're leaving yourself open to getting reeled in when you shouldn't be. If you've got enough common sense, you can blank that out. You can mute the player in the room. So Cobra has that option. So on that side of things, Cobra should have muted him to start with, and he wouldn't have had any problem there, other than the fact we've had the disconnects. But that's the best thing to do when you're playing Stubb in a tournament, is just mute him. He can chat all he wants, he can type all he wants, you're not going to see it. Only them that want to see it will see it, and you carry on the game and you focus on the job in hand. I mean, it's a very simple thing to do. That wasn't meant to say joke, that was meant to say KK. Well, Stubbs never changed. He's been exactly the bloody same. But we could be well underway. You know, is Cobra messing about here, and eventually we're going to have a match? Is he letting Stubb stew? Because it's working both sides here now. If Cobra, let's put it this way, guys, and you can agree with me or not. If Cobra wants the result to stand, he would have gone and not come back. End of. Now he's come back, and all it is a winding up process from his side. You know, if he just typed in the chat, Stubb, the rules are the rules, you have forfeited, you didn't get in the room, the match is over, you know, that's it, see you later. And then nobody's in any doubt. At the moment we're all being messed about here, and then until Cobra types that the result is done and he confirms it. I mean, Steve's asked him twice and he said, can I think about it, because Stubb was pissing about. We're not getting a conclusive answer here, and until we do so, we're sitting here like loons watching chat. And I know that I'm just going to say that if I was still in the admin situation, this matter would have been resolved 15 minutes ago, I can assure you. Because I wouldn't be prepared to sit around messing about. I would have had an answer and would have got on with the rest of our lives. But that's the way I am. The tournament, above all, comes before everything else. Somebody explain what's happened, because I'm fed up explaining. Oh dear. I'm assuming that somebody is in contact with Cobra to get an answer here. I know that yeah, I know that I would be in discussion with Cobra right now, um, and it's a simple yes or no question or answer, I should say. You know, do you want to play this match? However we're going to resolve it, and if so, let's get it done. If not, then enjoy your game, and we'll see you in the next round, and that's it, and it's solved. This is beginning to annoy me slightly. Somebody needs to grab the bull by the horns, get the situation sorted one way or another, and then everybody who's taken time out to get online, wherever you guys are, and some of you are a fair distance away from me, who've made an effort to join the stream. It's wasting everybody's time, and somebody needs to stand their ground and get it sorted, one way or the other. If it's a simple way, Stubbs forfeited, match over, end of. Let's come back another time. If Cobra wants to be generous enough, then the room would have been set, would have been underway, and that would have been it. Well, like I said earlier, Yama, if they're going to restart the match, so that Steve doesn't mess with the bracket at the moment, you have to set a room with the tournament settings, and Stubb has to forfeit the first 3 racks to give Cobra that 3-0 lead. Right, so there you go, guys. Cobra says he's going to make a decision later. So there is no match. And now the thing is what Cobra normally does in the morning is, when he does appear, is he's straight into his own challenge room. So if he does that, then, you know, he's got the time to spare. Right, guys, that's it. I'll just delete this stream when we're done. So yeah, apologies to those that joined us. It's a disappointing ending. It was a good start for Cobra, getting into that 3-0 lead, a good break to start with, the break and run, and Stubbs' break was dry, ran out the second rack, got himself into that 3-0 position. Even before that started, we had all the sort of disconnects. So the result right now looks as if it's going to stand, and Stubb will have to battle through the one-loss side. But hopefully he's learnt a lesson, and he's learnt the hard way, and that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for us all, because we were hoping in a very good match, and it probably would have been. So until we meet again, folks, it's all over. Thanks for your company. Well, I don't see anything about that. Right, I don't see anything about it. So until then, until we meet again, we're shutting down, folks. Take care, and we will see you again soon.